Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another AFL Fantasy Fanatics pre-lockout chat ahead of round 13, the second of the mid-season buys, or as quote-unquote we like to call the easy buy, but throwing a few curveballs at team selection, so maybe not as easy as what we originally thought. We're recording live on Saturday. Yes, that you heard that right. Saturday, the 7th of June. All of us were busy last night, and obviously I headed into the city to watch the Crows game. So that was obviously quite exciting. But I'm your host, Bales, and you can find me at BAILSDT across the socials. And joining me, as always, is a couple of my co-hosts and fellow AFL Fantasy Fanatics. And I'll start off with Tim Guest. Guesty, mate, how are you?
Yeah, not too bad, mate. Yeah, a bit strange for us doing a bit of a little pre-lockout chat on a Saturday. But yeah, like you said, mate, bit of carnage at the selection table. So hopefully we can help people make some decisions before the next game starts.
Yep, exactly right. So we've still got 6 games of footy to come over the weekend, which is nice. And joining us is obviously Jordox as well. Jordox, mate, how are you? I know you're pretty happy.
Yeah, pretty good. Pretty good. No, I feel great this morning. Last night was just awesome. Great game, great result. And yeah, excited that I found some time to jump on because I'm just in the car park at my daughter's dancing and she finishes in an hour. So this is perfect timing, boys. So
Dad life,
it's a shame.
mate. Dad life.
I know. It's a shame we have to talk about fantasy. I kind of thought we'd just spend the hour talking about the Crows, but we probably won't do that.
Well, we'll limit it to 60 seconds because we'll move on to fantasy. Mate, how was last night? Obviously, obviously me and you are pretty up and about. How did you enjoy the game?
Yeah, it was tense. I was pretty good for the whole game. I felt like we were playing well enough, and that Brisbane were just too clean, too composed, and we'd probably lose. And I was all right with it. But that last quarter was what a roller coaster to kick our way to the front so quickly, and then to spend the last 10 minutes just defending. I was exhausted, but very relieved on the siren.
Yeah, exactly. As I said, Jordan Dawson, what a mark, what a player. He'd be my old Australian captain. No bias intended there. I know the experts have said that they'd also say it, so we'll go say that there. And then, yeah, how often does Lockie Neal miss a goal 25 metres out with not much pressure on? But there was a lot of pressure because it was a pretty good game. But we'll move to the fantasy side of things because we could be chatting about the Crows.
I'm actually surprised you boys did when you said you're going to listen it to 60 seconds. You actually did limit it to 60 seconds. I was like, fuck, I'm just going to check out here while you boys froth.
Yeah, I thought just to get to the fantasy side of it, but yes.
Well, you keep us on course, Timmy, because we may end up Crows again. So if we do, keep us back on the fantasy chat.
All right.
Yeah.
Boys,
no, well, I didn't end up actually going to the game. I ended up going to watch the game with Lemon, Doss, Louis, and then Russi Rowan, who obviously from Marketplace, obviously on Twitter as well. Good man. We were riding those last 10 minutes pretty hard, and yeah, it was a good game. But yes, we have already had a couple of games already this round with the Bulldogs and Hawks on Thursday night, and we'll just quickly recap. We'll go over it. We'll do it a lot more on Monday when we do our sort of post-round review. But Tim English, if you had him, bit of a pod, 139, get you off to a fantastic start. But George, Matt Kennedy, mate, 132. I thought with Treloar being back, I thought, okay, well, but I just want to see how the role. Oh, Jordan is gone. Guesty, I'll ask you about Kennedy. I thought with the fact that Treloar come back, I was a bit worried about Kennedy potentially moving forward, but he's just a gun.
Yeah, look, I mean, I think we all were a little bit right, and I think we were talking about it in our Q&A on Tuesday night, and we're probably giving the man way too much disrespect. But with Treloar coming back in, we just weren't sure how it was going to impact that kind of midfield mix. So, chances are probably a lot of people stayed away from him, although there might be some savvy coaches out there that did jump on him, and of course they'd be absolutely right.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he was very, very good. Fills all the stat lines: 6 marks, 8 tackles, 29.
Yeah, sorry, boys. So, I dropped off. I'm not used to doing this on my phone. I pressed the wrong button. Matt Kennedy, we're talking about?
Yeah, it was
I reckon Kennedy, it's safe to say now, I thought this recently, but it's safe to say now, in Classic, in Draft, he's the pick of the season. He's the pick of the season. If you start him in either of those, for what you would have paid and what you would have drafted him at, He's the pick of the year. It's incredible what he's doing.
Yeah,
So kudos to anyone
it's
who's
going to
got
be
him.
Sanders, right? We'll stay away
Mm.
from him, thinking Sanders was the one that's going to get that time.
Yeah,
Mm.
exactly. That's for sure. Lloyd Meek as well, 120. Good for those draft coaches out there that have got him. Bailey Dale, 112. A few people went there with the Matt Roberts out, so be pretty happy with that score. And Dylan Moore also turning up, so he could be someone maybe on the way back up. Looked a lot more like the Dylan Moore that we know with 106. Newcomb also turned up when a few people traded out, which is no surprises there. Bont, 91. Could have been worse. Bulldogs were pretty bad, and I think Bont had a lot of kicks missed to him. He probably could have done a bit better if the dogs were on, but unfortunately didn't get it done. And then, Dave's probably the main loser there with just the 31 points.
Did anyone here trade in Bond?
Yeah.
How did you feel about the game? Like, I mean,
I was very angry watching that game, and on the watch long pretty much post game, I was like, I don't care if he saved it. I'm still pretty annoyed that he got to a 91 in the end. But 48 hours or nearly 48 hours.
Looked? Because
he looked fine. Like,
he
looked fine. Yeah. He didn't look like he didn't look as hungry, I guess, as what he has in the past, but the role was fantastic. He had the most CBAs clearly of any Dogs player. I just think that I got him in for the run coming up after this week. I was hoping for a ton just in a tougher matchup, but that's 91. That's fine. We'll move to these next three: St Kilda, Richmond, Sydney, North Melbourne. Sorry, next four, and he should be pretty good. So, a bit frustrating not getting a decent score on first one. But with Roberts out, I would have gone Bont regardless with him there. So, slightly disappointing. But at the end of the day, 91 isn't the end of the world. And then, obviously, last night, with the Crows game here, Will Ashcroft 113 Guesty. Pretty happy with that one.
Very happy with that. He dominated right from the first bounce kind of thing. He was killing it.
I think he was on 80 at half time, wasn't he? Crazy.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, he was very, very good. Quite a second half, but yes, very, very good top scoring there. Obviously, a low scoring fantasy game in a quite contested game. But Jordan Dawson, 109, 18 touches, midfield premiums. If you're not getting the ball, that's how you get it done. You get your 11 tackles, you boost your score up. Like, it's funny how we see some players get like I think Noah Anderson a couple weeks ago had like 39 touches. He scored like a 116 or a 118, and Dawson has like 21 touches less and does essentially the same thing. So he's just obviously a gun for fantasy and real life for that matter. Saligo 108.
Just on Dawson. The thing that he was getting well.
Oh, guess we can't quite hear you sounding talking underwater.
Oh, sorry, guys. Maybe it's my headphones.
No, that's better.
Is it?
Oh, there you go, that's
so
better.
I was just sort of say, the one thing to watch there, though, is Dawes was getting kind of pretty well helped by Dunks until he kind of took him forward and kind of took advantage of the mismatch there. So, I mean, I guess it's one of the things we know with Dawes, he can go forward and kick goals, but, it does also worry me about his screen when he moves forward as well.
Yeah, Dunkley did a very, very good job in the game last night. Saligo 108 as well, along with Jared Berry, so a couple of tons there as well. Zorko got to 87, copped a bit of attention from Keys throughout the night, but still solid score. Dan Curtin, if anyone jumped on him last few weeks, he's been pretty good. Another 82. That's 3 scores over 70 in a row, playing on that wing, so really taking that wing role really well. So he was good. Isaac Rankin's probably a question we'll chat about on Monday. He's playing a lot more forward. Peatling out likely for a week with that dangerous tackle on Lockie Neal, which is disappointing because he did a similar thing to, I forgot who it was. Was it Conor O'Sullivan maybe in gather round, tackled someone pretty similar and got the week, so he'll be out. But Rankin, we'll chat about more on Monday, but yeah, he could be a trade out maybe on his bye with a few of these lower scores. Peatling obviously a lower score as well with just a 63. Will Ashcroft 63. 23 touches was good, just the one mark, obviously, in the conditions. But I would have liked to have thought he might have got maybe 3 or 4 tackles in the weather. Would have boosted his score to that 70-odd mark. But 63 isn't the end of the world.
Result. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And then Loma got a 51. Good for cash gen. Obviously, with the conditions, it wasn't going to go huge. And then Ty Gallup with a 38. I thought he looked all right at times. Copped a bit of a head knock, went off past his concussion, but they subbed him out tactically. So could still be a downgrade if he stays in the side. So we'll move on to the other. Obviously,
hang on, before you move on, Bale, sorry, mate. Before you move on, just a player I want to ask about, and I know this is Jordox's boy, so I'm curious to get his feedback. I brought in Sam Berry a couple of weeks ago after his ton, but he's only managed to score like a 60-odd. Just wanted to talk about his role and how you kind of see that developing moving forward.
Yeah, I grabbed him too. So he's gone 66 and 60 in the two, which for his price is actually okay, but certainly not what we were hoping for, especially when you see Sheldrick doing what he's doing. But I'm pretty comfortable with him still in terms of the role and how secure it is. He I think he's still playing well and he's still impacting the game in the way, Crows fans want to see. It's just that scoring just isn't there. I mean, it's a hard sample size the last 2 weeks. And I say that because last week he scored 66 in a 15 goal win, but no Crow scored got 100. So he's pretty high for a team score. And then last night, which the condition suits his style, he just didn't lay a ton of tackles, but he was there, and a 60 on that game isn't too bad when you consider Rankin scored a 60 and a lot of Crows struggled. So I'm not too stressed. I would have liked an 80 by now, but
Yeah.
let's see what he can do against the Hawks Friday
Seems
night.
to be getting decent time on ground and decent CBAs. So, it's just
Yeah,
wait
he's
for him to pop
switching
a score.
between sort of deepish forward and the middle, which is a bit different for him. And I think when he bobs up with a couple of marks, a couple of goals, which he will in one game at some point, his scoring will be better.
Yeah. I think the thing that's surprising, the two tackles and the conditions is probably the thing that I was a bit surprised about. But yeah, very, very interesting. We've got a couple of super chats here already, boys. So let's get through a couple of these. So, Tim Ashworth has sent one through. Thank you, mate. He said, you said keep Peatling and Ashcroft over getting Myers. What do I do? Tim, obviously you messaged on the Patreon. Your trades are great, mate. You brought in some really good players in and traded some guys out. Peatling, okay, that sucks. He's got his buy. I believe it's next. No, not next week, the week after anyway. So you just trade him out. And then Ashcroft, everyone's got him pretty much still. So you can trade him out. But you're flying at the moment, mate. I know you had Tim English, so you're had a very good season, mate. So congrats on the start. Tim English is a big one, so probably makes up a bit for the Peatling one anyway. And best 18 is probably also the good thing there. And Myers has got a buy coming up as well. So, but yeah, Tim, you're absolutely flying, mate, and appreciate the super chat there. And then Lyndon Berwick saying team announcements screwed everyone. Very strange year with rookies. Yes, mate, it has been a pretty tough ride with the rookies this year, and it's been a very tough year, I think, as well. And particularly, I know, Lyndon, I believe you live in the US as well. So it's even tougher when you're living overseas for some of those people. I know we've got some people that are tuning in while being overseas. So,
I think we had a
very,
couple
very
of really
tough
good
year.
years with cash gen as well. Like if we look at the last 2 years of fantasy, we had some really great mid prices and really great rookies that made us a ton of cash. And by the buys, people had their teams complete. But yeah, it's not that way this year, is it?
Yes, exactly right.
No, I think there's been plenty of kids, and especially that first month of the season, there were plenty. It's sort of just a lot of them now. It's just like really unlucky stuff, like Cooper Simpson getting injured. Who was that poor Essendon boy who did his knee? A couple of guys who
Lewis
just
Hayes,
get
yep.
who just get a season-long injury. At pretty much they've barely made any cash. It's just unlucky. So the players have been there. It's just it's been a tough year though. So completely agree.
Exactly. But yeah, boys. Well, what did you end up doing, Jordox, with your trades this week? Obviously, pretty tricky week. Obviously, Roberts is one that we've all had to deal with, and I'm assuming he's probably been a trade for you. The fact that he's missing 2 weeks. But what have you done with your 3 trades this week?
Look, I'm at the point of the year where I can just sort of do things and not stress too hard about it, and that's what I did. I traded Roberts on Thursday night, and I called a panic trade, but I wasn't panicked. I was quite calm. I just figured it's 2 weeks he's out now, and when Jaiden Short was out for 1 to 2 with that injury, he was a pretty safe trade. So I felt all right doing it. It got me to Bont.
And he's not top 6 as well. Like he's just outside. So
I got him to Bont, which bit underwhelming, but he'll be fine. And I've got a gun primo for the next 5 weeks of buys or whatever it is. I also did Boxall to Nick Madden. I'm quite bullish on Madden. I think he can score pretty well. It's a gamble because I still have Boyd, so I've locked away my utility to a ruck spot. But yeah, I don't know. I got a good feeling about Madden. And then Cleary to Loman. So yeah, nothing exciting. I don't have much money left.
You got a couple of guys hopefully make some cash for you. So hopefully that gets that
Yeah.
cash gen kickstarted. So yep, like those trades, mate. Guesty, what trades are you doing?
Yeah, mate. So I'm actually doing something different than what I would normally do. Like at the beginning of the week, I was pretty hot on both Hardiman and Lohman, and I don't have Connor Rosie, so they were the first kind of trades I was looking at. But one of the things, kind of the lens that I've been viewing this week through is I've just been looking at my best 18, and I've been focusing purely on how many, let's call them primos in air quotes, I've got on field. And I'm actually doing something like super aggressive. And I mean, I guess this is just what I've been noticing the last couple of years during these buy kind of rounds is that, you want your ceiling scores. I mean, in the past, when the buys were so close together, and there weren't as many of them, we were kind of focused on, having 20, 21, 22 green dots. Whereas now I kind of don't care about the green dots. It's like, how many primos have I got playing? So what I'm doing is Matt Roberts has gone for me. 2 weeks is just too much. I'm also trading out Connor Stone, and then I'm putting Rowan Marshall on the scrap heap as well, since it's his buy, and that'll allow me to bring in Madden once again, a bit like Jordox in the utility spot. But then that also does allow me to bring in Connor Rosie. But for Rowan Marshall, I'm bringing in Cherry, and basically that gives me an extra primo this week, and it gives me an extra primo with a bloody good matchup. And like I said, I know, I don't probably have too much to play for with the buys, so I've got a little bit of a focus on with the season. I've got a little bit of a focus on Lord of the Buys, and I'm just trying to be aggressive. I know I'm going to be short cash because I'm dry when it comes to cash as it is anyway, but I figured I'm just going to go aggressive, and I'm just going to cross my fingers and hope that luck turns my way and we get a few, basement price rookies over the next few weeks, or we get a few downgrade options where I can make some cash. Like I'm even thinking about jumping off a Gorn in a couple of weeks and maybe pivoting back to Marshall to maybe make 100 odd K, or I'm just trying to get creative on how I can make cash and then finish off my team, because I've really kind of got one rookie still on field currently at the end of the buys for the best 22, and I'll need to get them up to someone.
Yeah,
love it. I like that.
Yeah, a lot of those trades, mate. So I was just having a look there. If people saw me cheering, I was just looking because the subs have just been announced. I don't know, Jordan, have you posted the subs yet, or are you not on this game?
That's a good question.
I've got the subs here for you if you want me to pass them on to you.
No, that's right. You read them out.
We got Camden McIntosh for Richmond and Taylor Adams for Sydney. So Bicey is good, and he's been named on-field Bice as well. So I'm actually holding him. With the fact that Roberts is out now. And I did say earlier in the week I wasn't going to hold Bice, no matter if he played the under-12s or anything like that. But he's staying with Roberts out. Didn't expect that one, and yeah, doing some other trades around that. So in terms of my trades this week, so trading out. So I went obviously Roberts to Hardiman, obviously with DPP, and then using that cash for Lindsay up to Bont, and then had some leftover cash to still go Connor Stone to Miles Bergman, and I've got 5K left over. So pretty happy with trading out a red dot and getting an upgrade there, along with upgrading Lindsay to Bont there as well. Obviously Roberts to Hardiman, obviously downgrading, getting a bit of cash there as well, but having a bit of cash in the bank certainly helped with the moves this week. It meant that Lohman is just on the bench at the moment, and I've got to bring in a forward rookie next week, but I think there's a couple there that I might be able to go. Like Isaac Keeler is probably the one that I'm looking at, so I'm happy enough with that. I've currently got
before we I want to find out how many primos, air quotes, like I think the traders called them proper players, like I think it was counting still Levi Ashcroft and Caleb Daniels and stuff like that. But Jordox, how many of those kind of players have you got playing this week?
Like primos, you mean?
I just players you're happy with scoring, like you're pretty comfortable with having them.
Yeah,
like I'm counting a Levi Ashcroft and a Caleb Daniel in that,
Yeah. I won't include Bice, but geez, it's a good opportunity for him to bounce back. Hey, for those who kept him, come on, Bicey. So look at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So we'll say 15, but that's not including Marek, McAuliffe, Berry, Bice.
Yeah.
So they're probably better score. So they're like better
Madden
scorers, I guess, than some of those ones that, like, for example, I've got 16, and then like I've got like Hardiman, Bice, outside. But then I'm got guys like Carroll, Angus Clark, Finn O'Sullivan, those type of guys there. So I'm think that Hardeman and Boss will be my 6th, 17th, and 18th. But if one of those other guys can pop a 70, they'll count over like a Levi or a Rankin. So I guess we'll see. Guesty, how many did you say you've got this week?
17 for me, mate. So,
Nice.
and then I've got
Yep.
the remaining 3 for me are Riley Bice, Sam Berry, and Angus Clark. Actually, I'm sorry, I've also got a Corey Warner. No, I'm not going to do that because I had Levi on the bench to loop him just in case he had a shocker, but I think I'm going to take that 63 over a corner of Corey Warner.
Yep, I like it. Yeah, no, you're in a good spot, Guesty, and obviously Will Ashcroft going well. You'd be pretty happy with the way that has started. So.
Yeah, so I mean, he's been a pretty good pick for me this year. I mean, Adam Chera, Will Ashcroft, they both have worked out pretty well, but yeah, I mean, the fucking killer of my season was a Tom Stewart.
Yeah, exactly. Same along with me, mate. Same with me.
That old chestnut.
Got another super chat here from Lyndon Berwick. So I'm not doing too bad from the US. Currently 422nd. Not too bad.
That's great. That's great.
That's bloody awesome. But the closer you get, the more you want it. Is Cooper Lord a real option? Jordox, as you're probably the man that has probably looked at him a lot more with doing the Finders Keepers pod, and I'm sure he would have probably his name would have popped up particularly last few weeks. What are your thoughts on Cooper Lord as an option just under 600K, I believe he is?
Yeah, it's worth a look. I don't know about that price.
It'd be awkward.
It is awkward, and you know, the forward line's got plenty. If it was maybe the back line, I'd look at it, but I'm pretty confident in his role, and you know, I know people are worried he'll get the sub again. It'd be mind-boggling if Carlton did that, especially the position they're in.
He's not on ground, so I doubt that he gets a sub. They don't normally pick from the ground.
Not starting sub, but more just if he's a bit quiet, he'll be subbed out. I mean, they've just got to play him at this stage. What's he scored? He's got a wicked mullet, so he's got that going for him. So he's gone 75, 71, 87, and then Bombers tomorrow night. Yeah. Look, he's an option.
I just think when you have Lohman, who was a bit cheaper, Hardeman, who's about 80K or 70K cheaper, and then you've got even like a Bergman, who is about 170K more expensive. You've got that type of cash. I think he's also another option as well. So, but yeah, Linda, mate, smashing it. 422nd and being overseas as well. That is, very, very good start to the year, mate. So keep it going for sure. Well, answer a heap of your questions now as well. So if you guys are tuning in, make sure you guys leave a comment below at the bottom of the chat, and we can go through your questions now. So we will answer those. So we'll go here. Oh, I like this one from RBL Mowbray Guesty. Bergman or Sam Doherty? So I know that there's been a bit of talk. Obviously, Jordy. A few people said, "Where did you get the article from?" I tried messaging Jordy, "Where'd you get the article from?" But he didn't get back to me. He's currently on a train at the moment. So shout out to him. Obviously playing a gig for on the train, which is pretty nice there, pretty sweet. But I couldn't find it. But I know that he sent me the whole article, like in terms of text. I don't know whereabouts he got it, but there was talk, Guesty, that he might be going back to half back. I know that Goat Fantasy said that it's sounding like that's what's going to be the case as well.
I saw the article as well, and I think there was a conversation between Vossi and Doc that was talking about where he plays his best footy, and he was pretty clear that he plays his best footy off half back. But look, I just don't think there's a lot of security in it. We've seen Doc be the sub, we've seen Doc out of the team. I'm not entirely sure what's going on with Carlton. I don't even know that they know what's going on with Carlton. It's quite possible that there's some significant changes made to their kind of game style or the way that they're structuring their team. But I just think there's uncertainty. I think you're better off with a Bergman. I think you've just got more security in that kind of midfield role, or in a role that's going to get him scoring points. That's
where I'm probably leaning to as well. I've got the choice. I can get either, and I'm going for Bergman this week, just with the fact Horn-France is out. I think Jordy's been pretty sort of keen on Bergman as well, saying that they reckon that he's obviously wants to play mid, and if Port either want to keep him or get his, trade value up, he's going to be playing a bit more midfield time back part of the year. And then also Sin, Farrell, Anasav, Radigalia all coming back in. I just think that means that there's the ability to keep him in midfield.
Mid-70s as well, right? Is that roughly where he is? Yeah,
Yeah,
so
about that. And if he's a
that...
midfielder, he's a 90+ averaging player. We've seen it for at least a few weeks. So maybe it's an average 90 for the rest of the year, but make some cash.
But if he's not, chances are he's going to continue to go at that 75 pop anyway. So I think that's you kind of there's not a lot of risk, right? Like worst case, you're buying someone for what they're going to produce, but you've got the upside there. Whereas Doc, you just don't even know if he's going to be in the side.
Yeah. No Horn Francis for another week too, which helps.
And Doherty's probably the perfect one that we watch him this week. He's got a break even in the 70s. I think Birdman's in the 50s. If you choose between the two and you want both, you can always wait till next week. Watch Doc after the bye, see if he's got the role, and then you can launch in next week if he goes well, because, I think he would be a decent target if that was the case. Tim Ashworth's got another super chat here. Thank you, mate. He's asking, who do I go Peatling, Long, and Ashcroft to next week? Tim, that's probably a question for next week. We can have a look at how you go next week. But Peatling can go because he's obviously going to be suspended, then a bye. And then Long is probably one we could, depending on carnage, you could probably hold. He's been pretty good, but you could also trade if you put up a lower score as well. It's going to be a pretty easy switch to like a Butters, for example, next week from him. And Levi's a guy that, again, if you're in a good spot, he can probably go as well. He's got the Giants next week, I think. I think they can all probably go next week, but probably one to look at for next week in terms of who we might be able to target for a few of those, Tim. But appreciate the super chat there anyway. Sean Jordox has got, he's saying, would you go Madden and be forced to trade Boyd next week or gamble on Will Hayes, who isn't the sub on Monday? Actually, I'll answer this one. You definitely go Madden over Will Hayes this week. Will Hayes, we don't even know if he's going to play, right? He's very likely to come in for Lockie Schultz and have that forward role, but we're not going to know. I'd get Madden, and I don't think you have to trade Boyd next week, right? As long as you can still get your trades done and you've got them in utility, it's fine. But if you need to trade one, Madden can either go at his buy, or if you're making good cash, then you trade Boyd, and that's fine, right? But I think you can get Madden in, and if you got Marshall, I think he's good cover there as well. I certainly thought about doing that this week, but I will go to you this one here, Jordox. Brisbane Blood's asking about Colby McKercher and 450k or Connor Rozee, and the reason I say that is because Goat Fantasy, obviously, shout out to Drew Jones, was saying earlier today. Not only was he saying a couple of mid-price options if you're feeling brave. He said Blues look to have reverted Sam Doherty to a role from a previous life, but you've got the new job security issues baked in, which we just chatted about. So something to watch for Doherty. And he also said word out of North Melbourne is Colby we brought in into the game more, wing forward role, not utilising his talents. McKercher's impact and scoring has dropped off significantly this season. Roos would like to get the ball in his hands again. I'm assuming you're just going to say Rozee over Colby just to be safe. But is Colby McKercher someone that you're going to be watching pretty close this week because he's quite cheap?
Yes, I will be watching him very closely. I have to decide on whether I field him or Harley Reid in keeper this week. And I was pretty safe on Reid, but after hearing that, because I saw what Goat Fantasy posted yesterday about it, it made me think, it's got to be McKercher. But I think you just wait. Let's just wait. There's no harm in waiting. And if you can get Rozee now, I'd be doing that. Bit boring, bit vanilla, but that's how I'd play it.
Yeah, I agree. And again, McKercher is a similar to like Doherty. You can look at him next week. He's already had his bye, so I think, and he's a guy that if he's got a half back role, we know he can score well. We've seen it I think he went at about near 90 odd clip last year in that role when he played off half back. So I'm just looking. So people that wanted Doherty's break even, it's on the 73, and then even McKercher's break even is currently sitting at 64. So you can watch it. He's not going to go up a huge amount, probably be no more than 650 at best case. I think you can look at it in a week or so and see how he goes. Mark Brown, morning, gents. Quick chat on the big four mids from Carlton this week and over the run. Cheers. So, Guesty, who do you like from those, the four Carlton mids? Obviously talking about Paddy Cripps, Sam Walsh, Adam Cerra, and George Hewitt, with Cripps being the most expensive, and I believe Walsh being the cheapest, which is obviously interesting. But are you keen on bringing any of those guys into your side?
Short answer, no. No, I'm not keen on any of them.
But if you had to?
Look, I think if you had to, you'd have to take a bit of a swing on Sammy Walsh. We've kind of seen him in years gone by average between around about that kind of, just over 100 to kind of 110 mark. I mean, obviously he's had a very slow start to the season. Injuries in the preseason that, really kind of have probably impacted that. I kind of feel like if you're going to have a shot at anyone, he's probably the one to have a shot at. But like I said, I'm not keen, and I'd probably be looking elsewhere if I could.
Yeah, I think if you're trying to trying to go for that prem that's fallen down, Walsh is that guy, but he's the fourth mid, and I'd keep going back to that tweet that Vams did in the preseason that the fourth midfielder doesn't average much over 90. Like, it just doesn't happen. Like, not many, like Dogs and even Brisbane, who have had 4 good mids, they barely average about 90, that fourth mid. So let alone other teams that don't score as much. And when you've got Cripps in there, you've got Hewitt, Chera's also having an amazing season as well, unless they've changed something there. Like, I wouldn't be shocked if they got Walsh into either a different role or he was maybe bumped up in the Seavers, because they've got to get more out of him. So I think he's a watch. Cripper's probably the one that's in form. He's gone 4 tons out of his last 5, but again, he's pretty expensive. And I'd just rather wait for Butters for next week. So I feel like if you want to go for the safest ones, probably Adam Chera, but you've missed out on all that cash gen. So it's, as Guesty said, I think you're probably just not going for any this week, and then reassessing next week. Maybe go Doherty, who's a mid, and you can pick him up. So I think it's a next week there, because they've got some good matchups. James is asking this one, Jordox, thoughts on Bice to Hardiman and Marek to Myers or Bergman. So I think Bice to Hardiman's probably still a tick, even though Bice has still got a good match. He's still got a high break in. What are your thoughts about Marek to Myers or Bergman? Are you going for Myers, who has got a bye coming up, but looking like a top 6 forward of late, or are you going Bergman, who's had the bye and a bit cheaper?
Yeah, I'm probably going Bergman. I've been pretty bullish on him for a few weeks now. And look, I did concede in one of our chats during the week about Myers being someone we should pay maybe more attention to, because I've been always quick to dismiss him as an option, but his last 4 weeks have been unbelievable. The only thing about Myers, it's pretty gloomy in Melbourne today, and obviously they're in Geelong. I think it's going to be wet against the Suns. I don't know. Don't know if it's going to be his type of game, but yeah, if I had to pick, I'd go Bergman.
Yeah, I'd agree. He's already had the bye, and I always like going, if you've got 2 players tossing up, one's already had the bye, you go the guy that's had the bye already. What have we got? Sean's saying here, apparently Will Hayes has been confirmed to play, but he could be the sub. So, okay, there you go. So he's coming in. So hopefully he's not the sub and people have got a downgrade option. But you can always judge. I think with Will Hayes, I think he's got the bye next week. He's a perfect guy. Just wait till after his bye. He's not going to be too expensive. He's a mid forward. You bring him in round 15 if he, because we're still going to downgrade option in round 15, right? So I think you downgrade him in round 15. You then know if he's in the team post bye, they're probably going to stick with him at least until Lockie Schultz is back. And who knows? We've seen players go from being 6 weeks out, they miss 3 weeks, and all of a sudden they're back. So it's like, I'd rather wait till round 15 on a Will Hayes if you can help it. Kent Hodder, Josh, I'll go back to you for this one. He said, we exiting stage left on Rankin on his bye.
I'm going to say no, but I guess the next couple of weeks will probably couple. Oh, we got one, then the bye.
Yeah.
The next game will probably dictate that. I don't know. I think he's a bit tired. I mean, he's never, he stepped up to this midfield role last year and missed a few stretches with a hammy, with I think a suspension, and then a concussion. He's pretty much played. Well, he's played every game this year, pretty much on ball. I don't know. He's just looked a bit, not necessarily tired, but just he could do with a freshen up. So I actually think post bye, with his price dropping, he'd be a good target for non-owners. So long-winded answer, but no, I'd stick with Ranky Doodle.
Yeah. That was a curveball, that's for sure. We'll chat about this. We'll chat about this again on Monday as well. But I think at this stage, I'm looking at holding. He scored 68 in the wet, right? 63 against Sydney, but that was a pretty wet game in terms. It was quite dewy. And post his bye, he's got Richmond then Melbourne. So there's going to be games where Rankin's going to go well. It's going to be those. So and the forwards as well. Really, besides Smith, Martin, and Kennedy, it drops off. I know McRae is there as well, but McRae, besides that massive 130, had been a bit quiet of late. And then you go Petrarca and Jackson at 94.6. So it's like I think he's still very much in that mix for that top 6. But yes, there has been a drop off.
And sorry, last thing, don't fall into what I think Summer's sort of assuming with his drop in score, that he's playing more forward. He's still very much a midfielder, and yes, he does go forward, but the role hasn't changed much to my eye.
Yeah. Probably some less CBAs. It's not as high, but yeah, I think he's still around the ball a fair bit. So 1, 2, watch. Isaac Tierney's got this one. Guesty, he's going Lawler to Hardiman, Trainer to Bergman, and Roberts to Bont. You ticking those off?
Oh, yeah, I think so. There's nothing. I can't see anything wrong with those.
Probably too late to change the Bont one. If we did disagree with it.
Yeah, no, but they're getting ticks from us, Isaac. Very, very good trades there. Jordan Tran's got this one, Guesty. He's saying, do I trade Bice with 20 green dots or trade Roberts with 21 playing? I think you'd trade Roberts, don't you?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Yeah, get the extra
I mean,
money.
it's not so much about the green dot. It might be that the extra money on Roberts' head can get you somewhere.
Yeah, agreed. Matt Jordox is asking, can we hold Bice and go Langford to Hardiman? Langford's break even is on 90.
Yeah, I'd say that's the preferred move. I mean, I know Bice's break even's probably more than that, but I don't know. There's an opportunity today for Bice to regenerate that cash. I'd probably keep him and trade out Langford for sure.
Yep, I would definitely agree with that one. Andrew Domahidis asking, lads, bring in Dacos, Walsh, or Whitfield. It's funny because I wouldn't prefer him, but I'd probably still have to say Walsh here. He's had a buy. And I expect an uptick, but it sounds bad when you've got, I'm assuming that's Nick Dacos there, or maybe Josh Dacos, and then Lockie Whitfield. Whitfield's coming down in price. He's got a buy coming up, got a tough run, and then Nick Dacos has got a buy, or Josh Dacos has got a buy next week. So I think it is Sam Walsh, but I don't obviously love Walsh there. Maybe if you go like Bergman, save some cash for next week, that would be arguably what I'd almost go for.
This is probably not the way people like to play the game, but I'd be grabbing Whitfield, even with his buy.
If you're going at him or Dacos, I think it's Whitfield over Dacos. And I'd prefer Whitfield over Walsh. It's just tough when you're bringing in someone that is, I guess if you're not heavy on round 16, you probably go Whitfield. But I don't love paying up over $1 million for someone that's going to have a buy coming up. And his role has been thrown around a little bit. Obviously, he's been more defensive late, but it has been thrown around. So it's a bit nerve-wracking. But, yeah, you're going to want Whitfield at some point as well. So maybe you go there. But Walsh obviously has had his buy. Calum Fife.
Quick one there, but just a quick one there, Bales. I know that was Andrew that asked that question. I just wanted to say to Andrew, mate, I did get your message. I will get back to you. It's just with the 2 kids, 3 businesses. I'm just a bit flat out at the moment, but yeah, mate, I will come back to you.
Yeah, all good. Calum Fife, Langford to Hardiman or Bolton to Walsh, Caldwell or Myers? I think you are going Langford to Hardiman. I think he's the rookie on the buy. And am I seeing this correctly? Lyndon Berwick has put in probably the biggest super chat I've ever seen. Absolute monster super chat from Lyndon. Bloody hell.
How much was
saying on the screen right there.
Well, I can't quite see it at the moment. Sorry.
100.
$100.
That is very, very generous. Cheers, Bales, Jordox, and Tim. I watch every one of y'all's pods. I've said it before, but I'll say it again. The valuable info you provide and sacrifice the fantasy community doesn't go unnoticed to those in the know. Legends go the red and the blue. Mate, you absolute legend, mate. Thank you very much, Lynn. That is very, very generous and unnecessary, but very, very much appreciated regardless, mate. And we obviously do really appreciate your support and everyone else's continued support. That is, obviously very, very thankful for that, mate. So thank you very much for that. And I know you are a patron member, mate, but if you want team reviews for the remainder of the year, then feel free. I'm happy to do anything for that, mate. That is, very, very generous, mate. Thank you very much for that.
Thanks, mate. Unreal.
Don't know what I'm going to do with the next question now. That's sort of throwing me back, but I appreciate that, Lynn. That is very, very much appreciated. What do we got here? I've said that one from Matt before. Louis O'Leary, should I trade Boxall and get rid of all my basement rookies off field with 110K in the bank, or trade Lindsay with 360K in the bank, but fielding Bo Allen or Zach Johnson? But look, that's probably a hard one to answer because I can't see the rest of your whole team. Boxall's probably going to be a red dot anyway now with McRae coming back. You'd think post bye. If you can loop between Bo Allen and Zach Johnson, if you've got like a bye play and you can loop between two, I'd probably be happy to trade Lindsay if you can loop between two mids. But it probably depends. Can you use that 306K next week for an upgrade you want? Do you need that money to upgrade another rookie on field? Like, how does it work? So who are you bringing in?
I reckon the first option, because he's getting all of his basement rooks off field. And I think Lindsay's still got some good scores in him. Yeah. Yeah, go first option.
You still got 110K in the bank as well. I guess I just heard that I think it's going to be a bit wet on Monday in King's birthday, so that's probably not going to suit a guy like Lindsay. But then again, he scored like an 80-odd against.
When you trade Boxall out at his exit meeting, just explain to him it's not him, it's Ross Lyon.
Yeah, I don't understand this 49% game time. It's just play him in the VFL if you're not going to play him at least 60%. But anyway, Bradley Smith, should we be concerned in trading in players from teams like Sydney and Port if finals look shot can affect players' incentives sometimes to go hard? Brad, that's a very good point. I know Pete on +6 always talks about that, saying that teams out of the finals hunt do throw things around. I think with guys from Sydney and Port that we're looking at, I think it's like Chad Warner, Isaac Heaney, their roles aren't going to shift regardless of really what's happening. Maybe they spend some more time for. They're pretty much doing a 50-50 split mid-forward anyway. And then when you're looking at Port, I think Berman, we've seen that role change already. I think Rosie's playing off halfback. That role change has been there. Butters isn't going to play anywhere other than midfield. And Horne-Francis is probably the one we're probably watching, right? If when he comes back, he's probably going to play forward a bit more. But when he gets back to full fitness, does he start playing a bit more in the midfield? So someone to keep an eye on. But no, very good point. And something to keep an eye on for, like, well, North Melbourne might be changing some things up. To Carlton change things up if they're going to lose a few games. But I know Carlton have got a good run, so maybe they can string some things together. But something to keep an eye out in the second half of the year.
But it's just quickly, that Bradley Smith, and this could be way off. It could be a completely different Brad Smith, but that might be Brad Smith who's in a keeper league with me, and he sent me a trade offer for Sid Draper this week, and he's a Crows man. So shout out to you, Brad, if it is the Brad I think it is. Might not be.
Yep. Yeah, no, shout out to you, Brad. Jack is saying, is Dunkley a trade out? The safest primo ever has ruined my season. I can't believe it. Geez, I'll tell you what, Dunkley has been very poor. Again, someone that we'll chat about a bit more on Monday's pod. But yeah, when I'm looking at these scores, he was safe to start the year the first 9 weeks, but in his last 4, he's gone below 95 in every game. He's going to get cheap for non-owners. I'm looking at him when he's going to get to cheap. So I'd probably say no, but it's something to definitely look at his buy. I think you don't trade it, but it's funny because you probably don't trade him yet, but his break even is big. And if he drops a couple of poor scores, he's going to be in the mid-900s. So it's a tough one, but I'd probably just stick fat at the moment. But again, we'll chat about that on Monday. Red Lighting, trainer to Guesty, trainer to Hardiman, Roberts to Bergman, and Stone to Walsh with 1K left. Are you ticking those off?
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the Walsh one, but obviously cash seems like an issue. I was just going to quickly look how much is Walsh.
And he's just over 900K. So he is 908K, 908.
Is there anyone else? Caldwell's more expensive than that, I think.
Yeah, you could go like Hadockety and save 120K, but obviously taking a bit more of a risk. But then again, you're taking a risk on Walsh, I reckon. Would you go Doherty over Walsh, save a bit of cash?
I reckon you'd consider.
I'm kind of leaning that way.
That's what I'm thinking as well.
Yeah.
Just you're taking a risk, right?
But totally. You're taking a risk, but you're saving money. It's giving you more to do up next week. And look, mate, if Doc's got that role, Jesus Christ,
we're all going to be. If he's got half back, or even if it's wing half back, and he tons up this week, he will be one of the most trading players next week because he's going to cheat. People are don't have a lot of cash. People aren't going to be able to go up to like these, like even like Nasai, Brayshaw, Sinclair. They're all over $1 million, so like, they're going to be hard to get. So you're going to need a cheaper player or two. And Doherty's doing this. He's going to be someone we're looking at. Well, I'll definitely be looking at him, that's for sure. So. And I'm pretty sure we all will. So, yeah, I think go Doherty, save a bit of cash. You have about 120, 130K to play with next week, Red Lighting. So I think we do that one. XX Defender Bros, which two should I captain out of Cherry, Baz, Gawn, and Whitfield. So I did my captain video on Thursday. So if anyone wants a deeper dive on that, check that out. Out of my rankings there, I'd be going Baz into Cherry. But that's my number one, number 2 into number 1. But I'd be interested to get your thoughts from both of you guys here. So Cherry's obviously got the West Coast matchup, and he's gone. I think he went 128 against him last year. He went 168 later in the year. Then he went a 130 odd in the preseason at this ground in Bunbury, right? Do you go VC Bailey Smith, who's gone over 125 in all 4 games at GMHBA this year, but it might be a little bit drizzly, we're not sure, into Cherry captain? Or do you go Cherry vice captain into a Nick Dacos or a Max Gawn on the Monday? Jordox, I'm keen to hear your thoughts first, then I'll go Guesty. What are you going just for? Go Baz. He's been the number 1 player for the year. Go VC him and go into Cherry, because if Baz fails, you go there and maybe you raise your VC line. Or are you going, I want the number 1, I want to crack at number 1, I'm going VC Cherry into a Nick Dacos or a Max Gawn?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I know what I'm doing. I got the V on Bont. I got too excited on Thursday. So I'll just captain X. But I think Smith into Cherry makes sense. It's very tempting, because how often can you put a VC on a Sunday player of the the ceiling of Cherry? So I get the temptation. I think with Monday, Gawn's the obvious one, but Darcy Cameron's no slouch, and not many score well against him, even if it is the great Gawn.
He went 149 or 148 against in this exact game last year, did Big Gawny.
Well, that aside, Bales, no one scores well against Darcy Cameron. Well, anyway, and then with Dacos, I mean, I don't know. I just think you'd feel much more secure chucking the C as your plan B on Cherry than Dacos or Gawn. So I think it's tempting, but I think I'd stick with Baz into X, man. Yeah.
Yep. Guesty?
Yeah, I'm Baz into X, man.
Yeah, at the moment, I'm still that. I'm probably going. I think what I'm doing though this week is, I think I'm very much 110 plus. I take, that's my line. I don't want to be too greedy, but maybe this week, because X is on the Sunday, I'll see how today goes with all the scores. If I need a bigger score from X, I won't take probably anything less than maybe a 115, 120. But I'm hoping Baz just goes like 125, 130. It's not. I don't even worry about it, right? But yeah, I think it's safer still to go. How often can you VC the number 1 scoring player in the game comfortably and then go into Cherry, who obviously has got West Coast? So I think that I'm still doing that. But if you do want to be a bit different, if you want to maybe catch up some ranks, or you've got a matchup you want to be a bit different, I think there is definitely a play to go Cherry into a Gawn or a Dacos, because I've got both of Dacos and Gawn in my top 5. So I think they're all good options. But yeah, I'm still Baz into Cherry. I think it was. I think the traders talked about it. It was a few weeks ago. We VC'd someone that was a number 1. A few people VC'd someone that was number 1 option instead of going for a VC on someone that didn't actually end up turning out too well. Can't remember the week it was, but I know it did happen recently, and it didn't quite go as well. XX Defender Bros, which 2 should I captain out of Whitfield, Gawn? Oh yeah, so we answered that before. Sorry, yeah, the same one before. I'll be going Baz into Cherry. Alex Menace was saying go straight to Walsh or go Berg or Doc. So we were saying go one of Berg or Doc, and we're probably leaning to go Bergman at the moment, but Doherty is also an option if you want to consider. Lyndon Berwick was saying $100 is worth a Hilux. I'll just have to get it converted to drive on the right. Oh, mate, Lyndon, mate, still nearly falling off my chair, mate. That's very generous, mate. And again, shout out to you, very much appreciate there. Lyndon saying he's VCing Smith into Cherry, no doubt. Yep, I like to do it like that. Brad Smith, Jordox stream from the car, 100% commitment. Nice job, mate.
Yeah, it just worked out perfectly. My daughter's at dancing, and instead of going home, I just sit in the car park and chat to you fellas and ladies.
Yeah. Lyndon Berwick, Oliver will tag Dacos, he's saying there. So, he'll try. I think Dacos probably, if that's the case, to get away from him. It'd be interesting. Do they use Sparrow to do a tagging job? Do they use McVie? I think has done it at some point as well. It'd be interesting to see if they try and do it, or they just go, well, let's just quell his influence and not really take. So it'll be interesting to see, but that is obviously a flag every time Dacos does play because of how good he is. Moon Boy Guesty's asking Chera versus Sheasel. Who would you be jumping on this week?
I think I'd go Sheasel. Look, Chera's had a great season, but I don't see him as top of line. I actually tend to think he's maybe been a little bit outperforming what he probably should be doing anyway. So whereas with Sheasel, what about the price difference? So that's the other thing as well. I just think Sheasel's got more of a chance of being top of line.
Yeah, I'm She's comfortably in that.
I'm She's out of those two, but I'm saying, can you get a Doherty or Bergman instead? I
agree that with what you're saying, Bales. Yeah,
the over $1 million for She's when we're like, I know She's. I said during the week that North Melbourne are going to stick to try and keep their players in a position to get that consistency going. But in that same thing, I know that I was chatting to Louis about this last night. In that same interview, She's again mentioned that about the forward time. So if he's a forward, I'm looking. If he plays forward this week, and even if he goes well, I'll probably trade him next week because I'm in a spot where I can actually get some cash off his head, go down to someone because I've got a few defenders in my team, and use that cash elsewhere with the limited cash gen. So I'll be looking to trade if he's forward this week. I want to see what that role looks like. So I wouldn't be trading into him. I think Bergman or Doherty is probably where you're looking this week. Obviously with the Dogs boys already playing. Where was it? There was someone here was asking. James is asking, is Bice worth a hold? I think again depends on what your team's looking like. I think you can hold him, but if you've got 21, 22 and Bice is there, I think you still trade. Like he's going to lose cash anyway, unless he does what he did against North Melbourne and goes 120. But I think I'd still go there. Tim Ashworth, would you get Sarong or Butters next week? Again, that's probably one to see how Butters goes. I'd probably say Butters at this stage, but we can chat about that one next week, Tim, for sure. We've got a couple more, and then we'll wrap up, give people a few minutes to get their teams all sorted. Where are we going to go from here? There was a question I saw earlier I wanted to touch on. Just trying to find it. Bradley Smith saying he's like, Dawson got me up off the lounge last night. What a leader. Mate, I know for a fact, me and Jordox will agree with you there for sure.
Are you a bit spewing, Bales, that you didn't go to the game?
Seeing the weather, yes, because it wasn't actually as bad as what I thought it was going to be. It rained for probably the start of the third quarter, and it rained on and off throughout the night. But then again, I would have gone the game by myself anyway. So I was like, either that or stay indoors, watch with Rowan, Louis, Lemon, a few other guys. So I might as well just Dossie, might as well just stay inside and chill with them, chat some fantasy and cheer along with Rowan, who I know is a Crows fan. So probably don't regret it, but it would have been nice to have gone in and seen that there, particularly at Dawson, Mark. That would have been pretty nice. I think we've pretty much got through most of the questions, but I'm just quickly flying through the ones from before. Defenders Bros was asking about Josh Ward. I just couldn't trust Hawthorn. We're not even comfortable on a Dylan Moore, let alone anyone else. So probably not.
I've got a question. If you guys want to help me, because I'm just going through all my teams. That in Shiva, it's a draft. I've got to decide if I field Mitch Duncan or Kane McAuliffe. And I'm just nervous Duncan could be, he probably won't be the sub, but I won't know. So
you're back in McAuliffe, particularly in like Sheev. You get locked out. Duncan's on the bench. It'll be Duncan or Jack Martin, and I probably don't know if they're going to want to put.
I heard a whisper that Jack Martin won't be the sub.
Well, it's not going to be Lawson, Humphreys, Mullen, or Stengel. So Duncan will be the sub. If you heard something that Jack Martin won't be the sub, it's not going to be Humphreys, Mullen, or Stengel. So Duncan would be the
Yamahama. All right, off he goes.
Yeah, so
thanks,
I'll be doing that. There you go.
I didn't even do a super chat. Thanks. Next time I will.
Caleb Fife asking Langford to Hardiman or we said that one from before. So we did answer that one. I reckon we've got through all the questions, boys. I reckon we've done pretty well. Jordan Tran had one here, boys. Lord or Sheldrick? Jordox, so you going for Lord who's had the bye already, or Sheldrick who's got the Tigers but then the bye?
Sheldrick. Sheldrick's the one. I dicked around with Berry and McAuliffe. Sheldrick was the one. So if you could still get him, I would.
Yeah, I think he's a good. I think he's a good. I'd got more confidence in him over Lord. If you're happy to take on the buy risk, because he's not a premium, so I'm fine bringing someone like that in. He's got the ability to maybe ton up today. If he can go 88 against Crows in a belting, I think he can go pretty well against Richmond.
And Mills is back in, but I don't think that'll affect him too much. Mills will play a little bit down back, I would have thought.
Yeah, agreed. There was one here actually from Brian Symes before saying, bias on the interchange bench with the break-even of 99. He will have a bounce-back game, and if he gets another sub-10 score, his price will plummet. I've upgraded him to Ash. I'm done with Sydney. Mate, that's fine. If you upgrade to Ash, it's a good trade. Obviously, if your N16 buys are fine, I'm happy enough to do that. And you don't have to keep him, right? Because a lot of people got Roberts. They've got other, I guess, red dots they can fix up as well and get that cash gen going that way. And Bice might be someone that counts to your best 18 if with Roberts out. So, but I think he's perfectly fine to trade because at the end of the day, he's got to buy next week anyway. We're all going to be trading him next week for the people that are holding on to him. So, yeah, for sure, I think you can still trade.
Hey, there's one we didn't answer from Matt.
Yep.
You may have answered it, but would you take Loman's score or risk it with Kako?
Yes, that was the one I was looking for. Yeah, I'd
take Loman's score. Yeah,
Kako hasn't gone over 50, I don't think, this year. So I think he did in the preseason game. So yeah, I'd be taking that one there.
Yep.
Jack's saying, is Hardeman still a good trade in with Colby going half back? I think Hardeman's still fine. I'm bringing Hardeman in still because at the end of the day, Hardeman has got that role. I don't think they're going to bring Colby back and then kick Hardeman's been doing really well in that role. I think it's more going to be Hardeman's probably going to be more on a wing and midfield compared to half forward, and it'll just be something to watch. But Hardeman's going to make cash anyway. He's as good as a cash cow. I'm not bringing him in to score 80s. I'm bringing him in to make some cash. So if it doesn't work in a few weeks, I can trade and you can make some cash. So yeah, I'm still fine with bringing him in, but a few people might go somewhere else. Yeah, I think that's probably well. Josh Hopkins just said trade out Lindsay or Bice. Again, depends how many you've got. I think Bice scores better than Lindsay this week, but
drops more money.
I'd trade out Lindsay over Bice. That's what I'm doing. But it's a tricky one for sure. Alrighty, that'll probably wrap us up there, I reckon. So we've done really well. So hopefully we got to everyone's question. Apologies if we did miss a question or two. Fair bit of chat. We did get through a lot of questions, but apologies if we did miss a question or two through there. And obviously, we'll give an extra shout to Lyndon for that massive super chat. Mate. That's very, very much appreciated, mate. Yeah, so Jordox, mate, for the people that missed it before, what are your trades and VC and C?
Yeah, so my trades were Roberts. Oh, shit, I forgot now. Roberts to Bont. And hold on, I'll pull it up. Yeah, Cleary, Boxall, and Roberts to Loman, Nick Madden, and Bont. I VC'd Bont, which failed, so I'm captaining Cherry. And I'm going to make a call. Nick Madden will score over 70 points on debut tonight.
Yeah, I think he will. I think against Port, I reckon he'll go pretty well. Guesty, your trades in VCC?
Connor Stone to Nick Madden, which allows me to go Matt Roberts to Connor Rozee and Rowan Marshall to Tristan Cherry, and then VC on Baz and the C on Cherry.
Yeah, mate, that must feel pretty good. C on Cherry. First time we've had Cherry all year. It
is.
Yeah, he was the Cherry hater for the first half of the year, whereas he's going to be the Cherry lover.
I just thought he was all overpriced. I thought he wasn't going to perform as well.
Just make sure, Timmy, you got to be careful because when you bring someone in and make them captain, it's a dangerous game. So don't ruin it. Don't pop Cherry for us,
mate. Don't pop the Cherry.
Pop the cherry.
Yeah, we'll leave that one alone, won't we? Yeah, look, he could go 150 against my boys down in Bunbury today, or tomorrow, sorry. So, yeah, fingers crossed.
How far drives that away? Is that a couple of hours from you, Guesty? Is that
about 90 minutes? About 90 minutes. Yeah. Down the freeway kind of thing. But yeah, look, country ground. So. But look, I guess the thing is, we're not worried like Geelong might rest a Baz against the Eagles or anything like that. I think, North will want the win. Eagles might be somewhere in the realm of being competitive. So I think he'll be playing a full game, and I think he'll score big. What did he score down there? Was it 140 or something like that in the preseason?
Yeah, 133 or something like that. Had like 14
yeah.
tackles.
Yeah.
So yeah, could put up a very, very nice score on debut for you, Guesty. Well, I hope so anyway. And then my trades. So obviously went Roberts to Hardiman, then went Lindsay up to Bont, and then Stone to Bergman. So technically it's Roberts to Bont, Lindsay to Hardiman, Stone to Bergman. Really is what I've done. So happy with those moves there, and keeping Bice over Lindsay, and doing that. And hopefully looking forward to a big week, and Bailey Smith VC into Tristan Sherry captain. That's what I've currently got on at the moment. And that'll wrap us up. But appreciate everyone for tuning in once again, obviously with a special time on the Saturday today. It'd be interesting to see. I know someone said that they like the Saturday morning pre-lockout chat. So let us know what you think about the Saturday morning one. We'll keep it on the Friday for the remainder of the year, but could be something
for in the comments. Friday or Saturday. Let us know what you prefer.
Maybe something in the future, maybe if you guys want, maybe next year or something like that, or even we'll see how it goes. If everyone wants on Saturday, then we might be able to do on Saturday. We'll see how we go. But get Jordox, mate. Where can the people find you?
At Jordox 2020 on X. Don't forget to check out Finders Keepers, the new podcast this year on Keeper Leagues that I am the host of, on X at FindKeepAFL. And of course, make sure you've subscribed to at AFL Subs to make sure you get the subs and late changes before anyone else.
Yeah, except I got it before you today, so I'll take.
Yeah, well, yeah, Bales, come on, and plug it up here.
No, mate. No, as I said, one of the best things that are going around with that. Don't even have to open your phone. Just you see the subs there, and it's fantastic. So make sure you get around that, Finders Keepers, and follow Jordox. Guesty, mate. Where can the people find you?
In Guest AU.
And you can find me at BAILSDT and us at AFL Fantasy Fans across the socials. If you are tuning in live, make sure you smash a like on the video if you haven't already, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're on 3927. We are 73 subscribers away from 4,000. We are getting very, very close. If you haven't subscribed yet, make sure that you do. And I'll be back for a watch along tonight for the Giants and Port game. So if you're around Saturday night, want to chill around and watch the game and hear me chat some shit and chat fantasy and watch the game, then head over and onto YouTube at about 7:20 Eastern, about that time. It's about what's that? 7:20, 5:20 per time. I was trying to figure out the time in my head. 5:20 per time. If you want to tune into that, make sure you guys do tune to that. But we'll be back on Monday, not Sunday. So we'll be back on Monday, obviously with the King's birthday game. So we'll be live pretty much directly after that game. So we're wrapping up the round. Make sure you guys tune into that one. But have a good weekend, guys. Smash out a big score. Hope you guys go well. And we'll catch you guys in our review or tonight for our watch along. So thanks, everyone. Catch you then. See ya.
See ya.